Welcome to Graphic Online. Today, we are privileged to have an important person with us here to discuss on a very critical issue that is currently holding all Ghanaians. And we are talking about the issue of same-sex. Today, we are privileged to have Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong to discuss on this issue. Dr. Opuni Frimpong is the president of the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa. He is very passionate on issues of national concern. He is here to help us understand what his association has to do with the issue of same-sex. Reverend, please welcome to Graphic Online.
Thank you.
What is the position of your association when it comes to same-sex?
Yes. Now, the issue of LGBT is not new. It's all over the world. But how now LGBT has become an issue for us in this country has something to do with how some of our donor agencies, our donor partners, foreign embassies like European Union, Denmark Embassy, Australia, recently involved themselves in fundraising and the opening of office in this country. The issue is not so much the office, but the significance of these actors. We know they support our budget, whether in education, health, even agric, they support us. And therefore, when they identify themselves with any, there's this tendency that thing becomes a national priority. We've just finished our election. The government is now, ministers are going through vetting. But you ask yourself, why should same-sex union becomes a national priority? So we, for us, will want our friends, we still need them, at least one, to give our government space to set national priorities. That's the first thing. But for us, marriage is not just pleasure, sexual pleasure. Marriage is more than having a pleasure. For somebody to say, as for me, I'm a man, but I have sexual pleasure with another man, or I'm a lady, I have sexual pleasure. For us, marriage is more issue of childbirth, child upbringing, and inheritance. In fact, marriage is the foundation of our society, whether church, governance, whatever. And we must protect the sanctity of marriage and family life values, so that it is not like, oh, this is human rights issue, leave me alone, this is the sexual preference I have. The issue we are talking about is how do we raise children? How do we, even family inheritance, when you go into this kind of unions, you have to adopt. But some of our families, you can't just bring somebody from outside, say, to inherit family property. So we want to have children, raise children, and even let the children lead us into the future.
Thanks very much. But you rightly mentioned the issue of the powerful nature of this LGBT. How can we all know of how influential they are. How can a government, like from a developing country like Ghana, fight or oppose their activity, knowing very well that the funding that they normally will get has some link to do with the LGBT?
Yes. We must say that at the moment, this group is a very powerful group, not just in Ghana. In some countries, now even we have some countries that have a president who is coming from this group. Some countries you have lawmakers who are from the group, business people, people in sports, celebrities, rich people. So in fact, we have even in some countries pastors, let me go to that extent, who belong to this group. So it's a very influential group that when you are dealing with, you must know the territory, But we must also quickly say that in those countries, even in the US, in Europe, It's not like everybody has accepted the phenomenon. When you give that impression, we are not being fair. I have found some Catholic bishops in the US who are the moment saying that even though the President Joe Biden is a Catholic, they will not give him communion if they attend service in their parish because of his position on abortion and same-sex union. I have friends in Germany who will say that if they go to church, they will not accept communion from a pastor who align himself herself with this kind. So number one, we should not give impression to our people that all the Western world, everybody has accepted the phenomenon. It's not fair. There are some European countries that have not accepted this. There are people in US who are still struggling. But then back to the question you asked, that how can we face this strong, powerful organizations? One, it seems to me we need to strengthen our laws. We need to strengthen our laws. But two, the people who have the people's mandate, our government, must have that assurance that Ghanaians are behind them. Ghanaians must give support to our leaders, our president, for them to know as they meet these international bodies that these are the things my people want and I can't do otherwise. So there must be public support for government in such matters. And number three, we need to mobilize social force. And here we will want church leaders, traditional leaders, Muslim leaders, media to pay attention to the sanctity of marriage, values of family life. So let the lawmakers do what they are supposed to do, but let's pay attention. Let's get our young people ready that for us, marriage should be a young man with a young lady, and let our young people appreciate why young men should not bring young men home, young ladies should not bring young ladies home.
Doc, that's interesting. But one of the main things, many people bow to the LGBT because of financial considerations, just like how many developing countries are succumbing to some of these things. What can we do, or how can we address this issue?
In this phenomenon can be true, can be false, because it is true some of our young people get themselves involved because of financial challenges. But it is also true there are people who don't have any financial challenges, but they are into it. So it's not always true that only people with financial challenges. There are people on top, business people, political people, pastors, who have what they have to live, but they still get themselves. It is the issue of elsewhere they say, I am a man who has been trapped in a woman's body, or I'm a woman who has been trapped. It's a mindset, and we need to address that. Because if you tell me it's a matter of being trapped, then I can also argue that I am an American who has been trapped in a Ghanaian skin, Ghanaian body. So Americans should give me citizenship. But they won't do it. But now there are people who are calling for such kind of things, that if a man can be trapped into a woman's body, then an African can be trapped in American body. So allow me to become an American.
Same-sex sickness.
Initially, the medical people considered same-sex, this mindset, as a medical challenge that must be addressed. Now, WHO has revised the position that it's no more, because when the WHO identified it as a medical challenge, they started giving counseling and medical support for these people. But then recently, the WHO has revised their notes. Whatever be the case, in our part of the world, with all the challenges we are going through, same-sex cannot be a healthy practice. We may not say that you are sick or having a mental, but it can still not be a healthy thing, because for us, family life, what family life means to us is more than sexual pleasure. Mean that I am a man, I have sexual satisfaction with a man. Marriage is more than that. And anybody who will want to park the car there, who want to stop that, allow me to have sexual pleasure, then we'll say that you don't understand the sanctity of marriage. You don't understand the value of the family, because family is more than that. And so LGBT should not just be allow us to have whatever we have. I will want to say, where is the place of children? They will say we will adopt. Where is the place of child upbringing? Because there are roles that mothers play, there are roles that fathers play in union. Two men can never be the same as a male, female. Two female can never be the same. Let's appreciate that. And here also inheritance. Elsewhere in the US, in Europe, you can prepare your will and hand over all your property, your estate, anything to a dog, to a cat. We don't do that. We don't do that. You don't have any Ghanaian society north to the south that people can hand over their family property, other things to dogs and cats. Here you need children, and even people pray to God that marriages will have their own children, sons and daughters, that they will hand over the family.
Now it means that you are now moving into cultural practice. Are you talking about the fact that same-sex is alien to our culture? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So that is why we must accept that something can be legally right but culturally wrong. And that is where we find ourselves now. That fine, if even you push that is a human right issue, I'm saying that in our part of the world, it's culturally wrong. You see? So we should not see same-sex union as just only human right issue that leave me alone. We will crash our societies because the nerve center of African society or Ghanaian society is a family. If you have weak families, you have weak society, weak nation. In fact, even church. If family system is weak, the church is weak. So you said it's cultural, but it is also religious. So it is not just because we are Catholics, we are Presbyterians, but we are looking at the bigger picture, the health of society. And people must appreciate that. Some people in a country will say, "Adia, you will be fear, yes, will be fear." Americans and Europeans may have this and may help their society. If you push this on us, you are destroying something for us because of how our society functions.
Since the issue of the raising of funds for the office of this group, there has been a lot of protests. Do you associate yourself with those protests? Two, some have gone to the extent, and we also hear the president has even directed that the place should be closed down. Is closed down the answer?
You see, we must appreciate the issue is not just somebody having an office. As for an office, I can have an office in my bedroom. It's the support, what I said earlier on, the significant support of those who attended the fundraising, European Union, and who and what they mean to us in this country. Denmark, Now, there are things as a society, as a country, we should be able to resist. We must have national priority. Now, COVID is a challenge. So, our national priority shouldn't go to same-sex, but should go to COVID. Europe has a vaccine. America has vaccine. Asia has vaccine. Africa, we don't. And if our government is making effort for us to have vaccine, why should we leave such an important part of us, the threat COVID is giving to us? And now on our media houses, government should pay attention to somebody's office. But European Union is there. So you must give attention to that. Education, affordable housing for our young people. The post-harvest challenge we are having. And now you are saying that a new government should leave all this and now pay attention to same. So when we are resisting, we must know that there's a reason. It's not, I will not encourage anybody to harm anybody in the name of no. So I'll use your platform to plead that we don't need to attack people because of same-sex LGBT. We don't need to eject people from homes and all that. I will not associate with that. But people must also appreciate that our government must be allowed to set national priority. But as far as I'm concerned, same-sex union now after election and with COVID, how our children will go to school and come back without bringing COVID home. These are the questions that should confront the new government, and same-sex union should not. And that is why our donor partners and our foreign partners should not push same-sex, and they shouldn't have, release statement just to support. Because when you do that, in a way, you are forcing our government into a conversation that we are not ready for.
Beautiful. But I wanted to find out, what should be our focus towards addressing this LGBT issue?
Yes, I would still plead with our lawmakers, that those who understand the law should examine our laws. And where we are weak, the president, if we need to send a bill to Parliament, we should do that and tighten our laws. But we must be firm on our conviction. May he rest in peace. The former president, Professor Atta Mills, had a similar challenge from UK Prime Minister, and he was very straightforward. In fact, the recent Speaker of Parliament also said it straight. In fact, I've also heard some of the ministers who have been to Parliament for vetting, the foreign affairs, the gender minister, the one for information, have all made statements. But we should go beyond words. We must turn such statement into policies. We must turn the statement into laws. And we must turn the statement into programs and structures. And then we must also mobilize society, that all of us must give support to our leaders, and education. We must prepare our young people in schools, on campuses, homes, churches, mosques. Media people should get involved, so that it will not be like we are persecuting people for their sexual preferences or orientation, whatever, but we are protecting society. Ghanaian society, Dagomba society, Ashanti society. We are protecting our future. We are protecting childbirth and child upbringing. We are protecting what will lead us to a future. We may not have what other people have, but at least we must protect our family values and sanctity of marriage.
Oh, beautiful to see. But I know that the ACAA, which is your organization, has been in the forefront of a lot of issues, and this is one of them. So let me find out, do you have a specific plan or agenda to address this issue, or is that what you are propounding?
Yeah. At the moment, at the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa, our position is, yes, LGBT is an issue, but the attention must go on sanctity of marriage, like I keep saying, and family values. We should not just react. LGBT, in fact, they want it that way. They come, they do something, then we all react. And they interpret that to mean persecution. What is happening the past days in Ghana, they will go all over the world and say we are persecuting them and call us homophobic. You see, we should not play into but we must know what do we want. And for us, the nerve center is marriage life and family values. So that is the education we are embarking on. That is the campaign. And we are saying that everybody, especially church leaders, traditional leaders, Muslim leaders, media, all of us must come together and give a value, give taste to Ghanaian people that it is better for young people to get into healthy marriage, young lady, give birth, raise children, and build a future for the children, to carry your legacy on. You see, let's pay attention to that rather than playing into the court of same-sex unions, and they come and they put pressure on us, and before we are aware, we are changing our laws. It's not just office space. We are talking about the future of our families, the future of our society. Same-sex union will not lead us there.
What can we tell our donor partners who seems to be pushing such an agenda?
In fact, even the United Nations, where they are all picking their strength from, doesn't allow any sovereign nation to enforce cultural values and practices on any other country. So sometimes you are surprised. Even there, recently, President Donald Trump on transgender and the military, American military, you know. So we plead with our donor agencies. We still need them. They are our friends. They have helped us, Denmark, Australia, but please appreciate our challenge. Appreciate what family means to Ghanaians and allow our government to set national priority. Donor agencies, please allow our government to set our national priority, even if same-sex union will become a national priority for Ghana. Allow us to do it, but don't force us. That may even disturb the friendship we have, because now some of the public utterances, statements that are coming may not be friendly, but we still need a friendly, healthy relationship with the embassies. And please relax the threat. We won't give you visas. We won't support this. We've been friends. Let's keep the friendship, but please don't threaten us. Respect our sovereignty, and let's hope that together we will build international community that all of us fit into it. Please help us to help other people, but stop the threat.
So you might still have just a word or two to our audience as they watch you tell us your position as far as this same-sex issue is concerned.
I'm a father. I'm a parent. I have sons and daughters. Now, I will want my sons and daughters to get into marriage. I want to have my daughters to get into marriage. If they are not having babies, that's a different story. But if God will bless us, I will want to have sons, grandsons and granddaughters, grandchildren. I will want to work hard, and whatever blessing God will bless me, one day hand over my whatever gift to my children, and I want them to hand over to their children's children. What it means is that in building relationship, marriage relationship, union, we must be conscious, even though we go into it for sexual pleasure. We must build relationship that will move us from today's joy, pleasure, into the future. And I'm saying that for the sake of the future that we want for ourselves and our children, proper healthy marriage, that is a guy and a lady, is a marriage that will get us there. Same-sex union will give us pleasure today, but will not give us the children and the grandchildren that we will need for the future. And when we do that, we are calling for extinction. If you are a Dagoma person, if you are a Bono person, a Fante person, when you are becoming excited about same-sex, get in mind that you are killing your family, and one day your family will cease to exist, because in same-sex union, you don't bring children, you only adopt. You don't raise children with father, mother, men and women. And we should not hand over our family inheritance and heritage to people that will go outside to adopt and bring. Let us raise our own children and hand over our sweat and toil, gifts and inheritance to our own. Please, Ghanaian young people, be excited about marriage, but please choose a marriage that is a guy and a lady. This is what is God's gift for us. This is what is best, and this is my prayer for you. God bless you as a young person who will accept this healthy lifestyle for your life today and tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Reverend, for all the wonderful things. I've picked a number of issues from the discussion, and I'm sure you, the audience, you too, you've taken a lot of cue from this discussion, where one of the most interesting thing I've listened to in recent times, where he's talking about sanctity of marriage and family life, which we should all be interested in. So, Ghanaians, that is Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong for you, and he has taken us through an interesting session, and I believe you have enjoyed the session. Thank you very much, and catch you another time.